A 2-week ceasefire with Iran. To some, it's a breather. To others, it's a trap. But for the Iranian people, it might be the only chance they have left to get their country back. For 47 years, the terrorist regime has held an entire nation and the world hostage. Today, we aren't just talking about a pause in fighting. We're talking about the end of an era. Is this the tip of the iceberg or the moment Iran finally bows? Now, before we look at what happens in 14 days, we have to look back at the 47 years that brought us to the brink. For me, this ceasefire is a good thing because I've always said I want the Iranian people to survive. This has never been an operation against the people. It's against a regime that has caused unrest for nearly half a century. Think about the history. The 1979 embassy hostage crisis, 444 days. The 1983 Beirut bombings that killed 241 U.S. service members. The kidnapping and murder of William Buckley. The hijackings of Kuwait Airways and TWA Flight 847. For decades, one thing has been clear. Iran has funded, trained, and directed the groups responsible for targeting Americans abroad. Even in the last 6 years, we've seen ballistic missiles launched at our hubs in Qatar, and the confirmation that Iran funded the attack on the USS Cole. To suggest we're not in Iran for a reason is simply ignoring history. Now, to be fair, history depends on who you ask. The naysayers will say we brought this on ourselves, that Iran has a legitimate beef because of the Shah or our presence in the Persian Gulf. Their official line is, as long as the U.S. occupies Muslim lands, resistance is justified. But you have to bake in the fact that much of their opposition is based on a core ideology that demonizes the West. Those death to America chants aren't just for show. They despise Western culture, and ultimately, their philosophy is that the world must be cleansed of anyone who is not like them. Given the opportunity, they would remove us from the map. That is a threat we simply cannot live with. So we've removed a good portion of that threat, and now we have this ceasefire. Some say this just gives them time to regroup and reload. That may be true, but they are decimated right now. 2 weeks isn't enough time to come back with real force, and President Trump has made it abundantly clear that the force we've shown so far is only the tip of the iceberg. I'm not suggesting Trump is suggesting going nuclear, although I've heard some people suggest it. To me, that's just crazy talk. But finishing the job by knocking out their power and stopping the flow of oil, that's enough to seal their fate. It leaves the regime crippled, defenseless, and without an economy. If that happens, Iran must bow to the one place they've long hated, the United States. Because if that country is left in utter ruin, we would have no choice but to step in and literally take over. To them, that is a defeat worse than any bomb. The thing is, they had no choice but to agree to this ceasefire. It doesn't end the war, and I'm not suggesting they'll just give up, but they'd be wise to, because right now this is their only chance to save their country and their ideology. If the people have something left, perhaps they have a fighting chance to rally for change and turn Iran into something better, a beacon of hope instead of a region constantly at battle. What happens next is anyone's guess, but I hope that in the end, we all come out winners. The US, Israel, the Middle East, but most importantly, the Iranian people. What do you think? Is this a genuine window for the people to rise up, or just a tactical pause for the regime? Let's talk about it in the comments.